Hello, everyone, wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's my pleasure to be here with you to talk about one of my greatest passions in life, which is IoT, also Maxis and our ideals and our projects here, a little bit about 5G as well. So let's get this started. Desktop. I hope you are seeing my desktop. All right. So this webinar is about the future and impact of 5G IoT, right? First, a little bit of my own background. So I'm electronic engineer, and currently I'm doing research in strategic marketing. My background, I had the pleasure to work in many fields related to IoT, software, hardware development, industrial automation, e-commerce, web, mobile development. I worked in telecom and other type of companies, venture capital companies. And just to name a few, I worked in Vodafone, which is one of the largest telecom companies in the world, based in the UK. Also worked in Siemens and in Huawei, right? And a little bit about my job in Maxis. So I'm heading the IoT product and services. We have a very bright and agile and very hardworking team in Maxis. I'm very proud of the team we have here. And my job is to look after the team, to look after our customers, to work really hard to get our customers to succeed when they use IoT solutions, when they use 5G. And many ask me, what is probably the most challenging part of my job? And I would say it is to look a little bit into the future, trying to find where the money is, right? So I have a proposition for you in the audience. If you eventually know where the money is, please call me. You might, get higher on the spot. Yeah. All right. So let's start with a quick poll, right? If I may, that you please. I hope you're seeing the poll. What is IoT? Internet of Things? Incredibly odd things? Interoperator tariff? Please give your best shot. All right. So, wow. Oh, well done. Well done. 100. Okay. Very good. Very good. 100%. Very good. Well done, guys. So, what is IoT? Internet of Things. So, this is a long journey technology. So we started long ago, like 20 years ago or more, being called telematics, and then it became machine to machine, and now we just call it Internet of Things, right? So what is exactly the point of this kind of technology? So we have data somewhere. It could be somewhere outside here. It could be in your bedroom, or it could be on the other side of the world. And then we are here, right? And how to get that data, here, so we can know what is going on out there, right? How to bring the data to us. What we do, we add things in the middle. So first thing we do is, let's say we have this thermometer, and then we connect this thermometer electronically, the sensor of the temperature, into some electronics. So this electronic will translate that piece of information to something that we can transport, right? For instance, over the mobile network, wirelessly, over the radio waves, right? And then we add a few more things, like you add Maxis telecom things in the middle, right? So we have in the Max, we have cloud, where the application, the data are stored. We have the Maxis telecom network. So you can talk, narrowband IoT, 5G, 4G in the middle. And we have the customer-facing device, which is usually your mobile phone, right? And then when things get working, the data just pop into your phone, right? So this is pretty much a quick description of what is IoT about, right? So and why IoT has been this overhyped technology, and many think this is really difficult. And it's more or less a challenge because IoT is like a Lego block. You as a company, as an IoT solution provider, usually you need to have partners because it's complex, have many components to any IoT, typical IoT solution will have many components. So, and what components are those, right? So the first, you need to have sensors or devices like that one here, right? That will collect the data and then transform this data in something that they can be communicated through the other blocks of the IoT solution, right? And how many types of devices we have out there in the world? Probably millions, right? And then we have the connectivity part, when the device need to connect wireless or wirelessly to transfer the data we want to something that can be shown to the customers, to us, right? So the connectivity by itself is a myriad of technologies, different technologies out there. I'm just naming here the 4G, 5G, Wi-Fi. There are many others like, Sigfox, LoRa, and narrowband IoT, for instance, right? Or even Bluetooth. And then the other part of the Lego block is the Iot Enablement Platform. So these platforms are where the application, the software that crunches the numbers, the data is hosted. So usually it's a cloud-based technology, and the developers, the engineers, the data scientists would work on those in order to bring the data to the customers. And then we have these customer-facing applications, which is usually a mobile app or a web browse application. You can see things like this, right? Pretty dashboards, rich of information, useful data, sending warning messages or giving you details of your operation so you can become more efficient and your company can save money or save time or save lives, right? And where's the money into this Lego block of IoT, right? Usually 70% average, GSMA usually 68%. There's a little bit of a discussion, arguably we could say 70% of the money worldwide is paid to that one that provides the customer-facing application. So that's the meat, right? And the rest of it's taking 30%. It's not a bad number, but the good chunk is up there, right? So, and why IoT is this important? Because if you have, let's have a quick look of the trend we are living all across the world, right? We see today that it's a huge need of data. All around us is data, right? And we can measure this. So you see this plot here from Statista, a statistical company that you can Google, by the way, showing that we have a pretty exponential like curve showing the trend. So you see like 100 zettabytes. It's a massive amount of data that we have per year today, 2022, right? And then you can see it's not really slowing down. So in probably 3 years, it's going almost to double the data. So data, when we talk data, we are talking money, right? And it's exponentially accelerating. So we need to work with those. And talking a little bit of Malaysia, Malaysia is following the rule. Actually, it's even more steep, exponential here. The data consumption in Malaysia is increasing even faster. And this is all about IoT. So a little bit about benefits of IoT, right? So one very, very leading edge technology we have today is called digital twin. I used to say we are not yet there. I would say it is a digital cousin, probably, right? So digital twin is very much close to IoT because the idea is to have a real scenario, real use case, real location, like a city, as you can see in this bluish part of the slide, right? This picture. And then you use lots of IoT sensors, right, to measure light intensity or weather data or traffic or whatever you need to measure. Or even let's take this jet turbine, right? You have the real one to the left, and you then create this computer graphics visual model. And of course, in the real one, you have really a huge amount of IoT sensors that will measure the speed and all the machine parameters you wanted to know. And then you transport that into this model, and you have almost in real time, a realistic thing in an animation, like a video game, showing what is going on with that turbine. But that's actually what is really happening, measured by IoT sensors from the real turbine. So this is a digital twin proposition. It's a leading edge solution. And you can see here that in a few years, most of the industrial sectors will be using digital twins in their business, right? You see 70% of the organizations are already using some, I would say, digital cousin, digital twins a little bit ahead of us, right? Even healthcare, for instance, is already applying these things, right? So let's talk a little bit about IoT at Maxis business, right? So Maxis, as you know, we are based in Malaysia. We are the leading telecom company in Malaysia, but we transformed ourselves. We are not only a telecom company anymore. We are a technology company, right? And inside our big Maxis telecom company, let's say the new Maxis, we have a Maxis business division. We are focused on the enterprise business. We sell solutions. We are the leading solution provider in Malaysia market for enterprises. And the best farm that we have inside the Maxis business is, of course, Maxis Business IoT, right? I'm not biased. And then we have here in the IoT, as I said, leading innovation. The team is very, very bright. And we have a few products already off the shelf that we are providing to Malaysia market, as we call M-Drive. It's a fleet management system, so companies can manage their fleet of vehicles, track them in real time with using GPS, global position on satellite. So they can, like a Google map, they can pinpoint where the vehicles are, where the bikes or cars or trucks are, right, in real time. And then they can also, the system can also help where the vehicles can go, avoid traffics, and also help them to monitor what they need to do when they go on work, right, using their vehicles. And Workforce is a field force automation. So it's an application that helps companies to coordinate their task force, the task force that is, for instance, sent out to visit customers or to visit some premises, like let's say you're an engineer, you need to fix some light pole, and then you have Workforce in your phone that shows where you need to go and what you need to do, and then helps you to do the report. You've done the job really right, we need more help, things like that. And we have leading edge solutions in smart manufacturing. Helps you to automate your warehouse using autonomous guided vehicles or robots or machine vision, like augmented reality solutions, all the above. So the factory can optimize their process and make things faster, cheaper, and make their own customers happier with their solutions, right? And we also have things like advanced connectivity for those that just need to plug our SIM cards into their remote devices and send the data through the cloud. We have the cloud here. We have the IoT platforms that they can host their piece of software there, as I said, and they can provide these solutions to their own customers. We can provide complete support to these partners. And we have now private networks that is a 4G or 5G technology for corporations that want or need to have ultra safe, secure, and private network or wireless coverage to their factories. And just to recall that private networks is probably the only one that was never hacked. So this is pretty safe environment, and they don't need to become a telecom company. We run that on their behalf. This is our expertise. I'm happy to support. All right, so moving on, this is in one slide, again, the products we have here. So you can see to the left, top left, the M drive. I spoke about that already. M workforce. We have IoT terminals. So you may need to have the electronic device to connect to your sensors, to your equipment, right? So there you are. We can provide that to you. And we have the Iot connectivity. As I said, we can provide SIM card. We can help you to monitor what is happening with the data. We have managed services, as we call it. So we can manage this connectivity on your behalf. So you don't need to become a telecom company. We help you on that. Narrowband IoT is a very special 5G kind of technology, especially used for very small devices when you don't need to have, the power consumption is very small, so you can have a battery, depending on your electronics, that battery can last 10, 15 years. So it's very good to use for, let's say, water meter. You don't have a power plug to plug the meter in. So you can put the battery there, and then you can read the meter, and the battery will last this long because of the technology that is around narrowband IoT. And we have, as I mentioned, the managed services, which is one service we provide for the companies to focus on their business, on their key goals, while we manage the IoT network on their behalf, so they can really focus on those businesses, right? Well, good. Okay, talking a little bit about 5G IoT now, right? 5G IoT is pretty much the same thing, flavors of the same thing. And how this can really be different. So we had 4G. I'm talking in another slide, comparing the generations. But the 5G itself has three main pillars that makes 5G different from the 4G and the other generations, right? So let's look into that. So one pillar is the ultra-fast broadband speed. So they say that 5G probably will provide us 10 to 100 times faster broadband into our phones, right? And then we have this massive device-to-device, D2D, device-to-device capability. So in one antenna, in a 5G antenna, when before you could have perhaps a few hundreds or less IoT devices talking to that antenna, in the 5G, you might have thousands of devices. So the capability of handling 5G in IoT is higher than before, much better than before. And then we have this so-called ultra low latency. For those that play video game, right? You know exactly what I mean. So you're playing against a multiplayer against your best friends. And if your computer is not showing you, if you have a low latency, you're going to win the game more likely, right? The others that are having a more latency, the game lags. So you can see that something's going on in the communication. So 5G is promising ultra low latency, which is also very critical for industry, for factories, for healthcare, for real-time monitoring cases. So these technologies are all critical for many businesses we have today and next. So let's let's now have another quick poll to see if everybody is paying attention, yeah? Oh yeah, so what is the benefit of 5G ultra low latency? What do you think? Tell me. You okay? All right. Help me to win multiplayer against my pulse. Good answer. Help my doctor to check my vital data and get healthier. Also, right, no problem. And of course, those that checked all the above, well done to all of you. All questions, all answers here are correct. Yeah, thank you. So moving on. So still talking a little bit about data again, right? So IoT has been always a promise because of, as you already know, we have these boxes, Lego boxes or blocks that we need to put together to have an IoT solution, complete IoT solution we can provide to the users, to ourselves, to the customers, right? But then we more recently reviewed the numbers, many back to 2005, 2006, I saw forecast showing that we by now would be having something like 50 billion IoT devices. And remember that mobile phone is an IoT device, right? But then we recently have this data more accurately reviewed. So we can see today that we should have nearly 50 billion connected devices worldwide. That's impressive number, right? So today we have more or less 7 billion human beings in the planet. So we could say that we more or less have 2 IoT devices per human being in the planet. And if you look to the next years, right, in 2030, we should have almost doubled, right? That's impressive. That's really impressive. So, and talking a little bit about the connectivity Lego block now, right? As the technology evolves, we in Maxis, we don't think IoT as a SIM card related. We are more than happy to consider what is best for our customers in terms of IoT connectivity technology. Right? We are a convergent company, so we have other solutions available to the customers, right? And you can see here very interesting types of connectivity like high band 5G, millimeter wave, or low mid band 5G, Wi-Fi 6 or coming Wi-Fi 6 soon, Wi-Fi 7 soon, and fiber, low power, wide area networks. That is the category of narrowband IoT. And then we have the short range that you use regularly with RFID and Bluetooth, right? All right, and where all these technologies will help us to improve our lives, our businesses, right? Second to McKinsey in research, we should be looking to healthcare, manufacturing. Mobility here means transport, cars, not mobile phones, but mobility as a way we go from A to B, way we take something, a parcel, whatever, from A to B, right? And retail. So a good chunk of money there. Pay attention. And talking a little bit about, as I promised, talking a little bit about the generations, right? So we have the 1G. Long time ago, we could take this black box and call our friends. We could talk to them. Amazing, right? And then we have the 2G. We could send text messages. And it was not for free, right? You had to pay for the text messages. Now we get that for free, right? And the 3G, that improved. We started seeing GPS, global positioning satellite data, and we start seeing maps with pins on the maps showing positions of things, right? And 4G was absolutely amazing solution. The telecom companies made an amazing job creating this technology and making them this cheap for everybody in the world to use. It's remarkable how we can, stream videos and talk to ourselves and use that technology to work, and how this was so important to face the pandemic. I cannot overstate that. And then the 5G is now in many countries around the planet and coming here in Malaysia as well, where we can see a very important role into IoT, into cloud, and many use cases we rely on 5G because of those three pillars, remember, right? Ultra low latency, ultra fast broadband speed, and massive capacity for connecting devices to devices, right? And then if you look into this interesting plot here, what we are seeing is what we call a product life cycle, right? So this is very typical. Whatever is the product or solution, especially in technology, they more or less have this bell curve shape things, right? So you can see here the 2G fading away slowly, this blue, dark blue curve, and then the blue, the light blue curve, the 3G going up there, meaning that many people would be buying that solution at that peak point, and then people that bought that solution stopped buying that, right? And only the later buyers would invest into that, and then the new technology is coming, so people would start buying the new technology. And note that there is this orangish curve to the right showing that 5G is really going really up. So if you're thinking about where to go and consider that, consider the 4G, but the 5G as well in your strategy, okay? And probably my last slide, why IoT is so important now and in the future. The IoT is essentially the way we collect data, we control devices remotely, we send data to the device, not only take data from them, but we also send data. We can, command an engine to turn on, or to a door to lock remotely using IoT. And then we can see a few scenarios again from McKinsey research. We could say, for instance, frictionless customer experience. So thanks to IoT, you might go into a grocery store, and the only thing you touch are the products you put in your bag before going home. Even the payment would not be necessary, right? Everything around the store is IoT and designed to, read with cameras, read your facial, identify who you are. Then they connect you with your credit card, and you just go take your ice cream, take your bananas, put in your bag and go home. And then of course they will charge you properly, and you haven't had to, take your wallet out of your pocket. This is one way, and it's already happening, right? Vehicles to anything. We can see IoT heavily used in this segment. So the roads could talk to the cars could read the road signals, the traffic signals, and also eventually talk to the pedestrian's phone. So the car could know that the pedestrian is going to cross the road and take action to avoid any accident, for instance, right? And we can also see a strong strategic importance of IoT in industry, in factory, all around. So vision, AI, artificial intelligence, that is a reality also. So many use cases in factory are using very special algorithms to learn machine learning to make their process more efficient. This is very much an IoT case. And then the other last case I wanted to highlight is the personalized healthcare. When you use IoT in your house to monitor yourself, if you had a fall, or if you're cooking at this point, or if if there is any linkage in your house, or related to you. And then there is another aspect, which is using wearables and eatables. You could swallow an IoT device that would analyze and collect data from inside you, right? And then there's the DNA mapping. So using this personalized healthcare case, the doctors would use big data, use machine learning, and check your biological data, if you give permission, of course. Cybersecurity is all around. And you have the IoT sensors to measure your lifestyle. If you do exercises, or if you're into work, for instance, a level of stress you have, they can monitor that. And then they have this huge database to compare these people's data, and then come to you with the best approach for your specific needs. That's a great case. So this ends my presentation. I wanted to thank you. You've been a great audience. Thank you very much. Please send me questions. I'll be very happy to answer all of them. And then I would say see you soon. See you in the next, and I will hand that to my lovely colleague Zatil here to give you the closure. Thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure.
All right. Okay. So now we can actually go to the Q&A session, Marcelo. Yes. So we can actually look at the questions here, and you'll be able to answer the questions live.
All right. Okay, so let me have the first question here. Is the IoT usage in Malaysia and the Southeast region becoming mainstream, or is it still considered early adopter usage? No, it's not early adopter usage, I would say. IoT is already there. Depending on the use case, mostly. Some use cases might be too new. So you could say they would fit into early adopter innovators case, but not the IoT specifically. I think the IoT technology is available. We have narrowband IoT, we have the 4G, 2G available to them. So the connectivity is already there. Okay. Let's go to the next question. Which industry in Malaysia is the leading user of IoT applications? Very clever, interesting question. I would say areas in fleet management are probably one of the largest consumers of IoT solutions. So telemetry is also very, very good. And e-commerce, you saw the POS, point of sales, also good cases. There are many. So it's a difficult answer. I'll try to give you more details later on. Thank you for the question. So another question, what kind of reference resources or reading material would you recommend if I wanted to grow my knowledge to IoT? Wow. So I myself, I think I have nearly 25, 30 books in IoT related to IoT. So there's plenty of material. I would suggest you to go into McKinsey web page. They have this very rich report, a bit aged because it was published by 2020. But I like this report very, very much because it's looking to the future and very, very scientific and commercial. Very good approach to that. And web page, you might find a huge amount of data out of IoT if you Google that. Probably a bit too much, but you can also, reach out to us, reach out to me offline, and I would be more than happy to give you more directions on that. Okay. And another question we have, what kind of reference resources reading? This one is already answered. Let me check. You see to have a lot of knowledge in IoT. Oh, thank you. I have a huge list of mistakes, I would say. Just curious, how did you get started into the IoT industry? Oh, interesting. Thank you for asking that. So, okay, as an electronic engineer, IoT was already there, right? So, when I had the chance to start working in a telecom company very soon, and at that time, we had this challenge of connecting remote devices to read data from there. So it was a time that we used to call telematics or simply machine to machine as well. So this kind of application was in the embryo, let's say back in 2000, 2001, when we didn't have this number of modules and electronics that we have today. Today it's much better. That time we had to struggle a little bit to have electronic chips available to collect this kind of data. But anyway, that's the way I started. I started working in this kind of solutions. I worked for companies like Walmart back the days, doing temperature telemetry. That was one case. The other case, I worked with customers like Volkswagen doing telemetry in the factory process as well. So, but that was the way I started. We didn't really call it IoT at the time. It was more simple electronics, telemetry use cases, but now it's all under IoT definition. I hope I answered your question. So let me go to the next question. All right. Maxis used to run IoT challenge competition in the past. Does Maxis plan to bring back those competitions in the near future to encourage use of it? Yes, the answer is yes. Stay tuned. We'll do very soon. And join us, please. What do you think about prospects of smart homes in Malaysia? I think it's not only a trend. I think our homes will become ever and ever smart or smarter. You notice that I spoke about healthcare, right? So it's not only a trend. We've been seeing leading cases, let's say in UK, in Germany, where they really install sensors around the house. So if you have, let's say, your grandfather or your grandmother, you want to keep in touch with them, right? It's cheaper and more efficient if you use these IoT solutions installed in the house, so you can really feel what is happening with your loved ones, and eventually give him a call, or if, for instance, someone had a fall, you can send help, and even the healthcare takers can reach out to them. So, and that's one case. The other is, solutions like Alexa and alike. They will probably be more smart as we go, and more useful as well. So I expect this to become a strong application now and next. Yes. Next question. Can help to elaborate more on the implementation of IoT for health? Oh, gladly. So we spoke a little bit about that already, right? So there is one case I like very much, is the remote patient monitoring, right? So how to provide healthcare to the increasing population we have in Malaysia and everywhere in the world, right? We spoke about this personalized healthcare when you use IoT, 3 pillars, right? IoT, DNA mapping, and big data, right? To cross the data from eventually billions of people, right? But going back into a more practical solution, we have this remote patient monitoring that is essentially a box, or usually has a tablet-looking device that you attach on the wall or on your table at home. And that device You can talk to your health caretaker or your family. And that device is also going to talk to all the sensors that this remote patient monitoring solution provider would install in your house. Eventually sensors to monitor yourself. If eventually had a fall, the sensors would probably be able to detect. And also your habits. So you usually wake up this time of the day, you go and have your breakfast, and then you work, and then you have your lunch. But something was not quite right the other day, and the systems are all looking at you to protect you, help you, and someone probably would have warned by the IoT platform, the system, the application would raise a flag saying, something is not quite right. The behavior, the pattern is not exactly the usual one. Please give them a call. So this is a great case. I would suggest you to have a look. And it's already being deployed in countries in Europe and US. Yeah. Another question, in your opinion, what are the top challenges of implementing IoT system? Yeah, you're gonna probably find this answer a bit funny. I think and I'm talking about someone that went through engineering, robotics, myself, and now in marketing, right? I think the most challenging part of developing IoT systems is, and this is by far the one trap of this, you have a great idea, and then you develop the engineering part, the technical part, but you don't have really a business case. You don't have customers waiting for this IoT solution. So we have many cases of very bright people that invest a lot of time, developing very interesting solutions, technically very rich, very complex, very hard to do, but nevertheless, they miss the point of what is exactly that the customer would pay for. So I would suggest you to look into IoT from both sides, the technical part, but also a business commercial side. Look into that, and then it's going to be great fun for you, right? Am I missing lots of questions here, right? So let me see. Another one. Okay. What are the challenges, if any, IoT is currently facing? Okay, so IoT by itself is not exactly facing any challenges specifically. I would say the usual challenges IoT as a business has is, you saw when we spoke about the Lego blocks, right? You need to talk to the customer, need to talk to your clients, your consumers, and see exactly what they want. And then you take that need and you break it down into those components, right? And then you need to find the best sensor, the best device, what is the most adequate IoT platforms, what is the best connectivity. And then you need to design the customer facing application, the user application on top. You see, this is a pretty interesting challenge. And you need to put all those things together. Eventually, you are able to do one block, but you're not able to do the other blocks. So you need to develop ecosystems, eco partners, right? So here in Maxis, we have expertise in doing so. Just to name one, we have the 5G Alliance program. We just launched the press release a few weeks ago, and we are leading this ecosystem in Malaysia. So, and we have very powerful partners with us. Please join us, right? We are up to build few amazing things. And there you are. So you think IoT, you need to think ecosystem, you need to think partnership, you need to think what the customers really need, what they really want. And then you look into the technical part. Yeah. All right. Another question. As more IoT devices come online, we'll be seeing operations in various industries being automated, right? That's right. With cost-effective automation options available, won't this have a negative impact on demand for human capital? I was expecting this question. Thank you. And how can this be addressed so that it reduces negative impact for some? So I remember when I was working in robotics in Hitachi, and I was sent to install a robot in Volkswagen factory plant, right? And a very experienced worker, one of the cheap manufacturers, came to me saying, my job is not going to be replaced by this machine. And I had to give him the bad news. I think the technology is not designed or supposed to replace people. But we as people, we want to have quality. We want to have this data. We benefit out of the technology as a whole. So it's more or less unavoidable that something is going to shake a little bit the work environment. But there is hope. We expect that people could be helped to acquire new skills and expertise. So I understand that today we cannot afford, you go to the university, you know, you go to the school, you go to university, but you cannot afford staying just with that. We need to keep improving ourselves, studying constantly. So you see me, I'm doing a strategic marketing, Master of Arts research, right? I'm this old and I'm still studying and I'm still passionate about learning new things. So this is the key. And this is what I think is the solution for us to face the eventual threat that technology might seems to be bringing to us, right? But at the same time, usually we lose a few kinds of job that the technology could replace eventually, but then there are other new kinds of job that will even pay better than the other ones. It's just a matter for you to pay attention and not become obsolete. Make sure that you're constantly learning new things, right? And have passion doing so. So there you are. You're not going to lose your job because technology, but probably technology will need you to improve itself and help the others of us using those. Okay. So let me see the other one. Do you foresee any new issues or challenges related to cybersecurity arising from 5G use case due to an increase in endpoint devices? Okay, just to remind ourselves that actually the telecom technology like 4G, 5G, as far as I know, is the only one that was never hacked, right? So cybersecurity is it's absolutely mandatory to us here in Maxis, but to any other telecom companies as well. And any company that's leading with IoT should and they are seriously concerned about cybersecurity. And yes, there is always a risk, but not through the telecom, but eventually for the weakest points, like they can install a virus or a malware in your web browser, and through that they can reach out to equipment and other things. We saw recently cases in US, right? The oil pipe company was subject of a ransomware case, and it was in the news. So as we increase the number of devices around us, the risk needs to be considered and assessed, and we do assess that, right, from our side, and we do have tools and technology to keep really airtight on that regard. Yeah, but yes, you're right. We need to keep it under our crosshairs all time. Another question: how does IoT influence the development of smart cities? Or does it will apply to rural areas too? Oh yeah, IoT, you can say easily that IoT is all around smart cities, urban areas. One case in urban areas, you could say the IoT is very useful in farms, right? Smart cities is a very big umbrella use case. Under this smart city umbrella, you have probably hundreds of IoT use cases and solutions, or more IoT use cases under that. So certainly IoT is very useful, if not a must-have in all these cases, including urban areas. Yes. Will 5G be able to solve Covert issues in industrial enclosure cabinets? Good question. You know, there is the law of Faraday, right? Faraday cage, for instance, anything that is inside a metallic wrapper, right? The electromagnetic waves will not go through, they bounce inside, right? Or if you're trying to send some electromagnetic wave inside that metallic cage, it's not going to pass, right? So for instance, you go into a microwave oven and there's this metallic grid, right, with small holes, right? Why you're not cooking your face when you're warming your milk, right? That's because there's this metallic grid and the microwaves are not able to pass that because this metallic grid has exactly the rolls, the size of the rolls are exactly calculated because the microwave wavelength and it's not going to pass that metal. It reflects inside, it's bouncing inside. So there's no way that you can break the laws of physics, right? So you need to find some other solution if you wanted to access something inside the cabinet. Okay. Does IoT rely solely on wireless technology? No. Can it work with wireline fiber technology? Yes, of course, of course. So the point is transport the data from A to B, right? If it is wire, or if it is wireless, or if it is, I don't know, the smoke signal, we don't care. As long as the data is coming from A to B and the data is correct, right? You can use any technology. We do in Maxis. We don't necessarily use only SIM card related technologies. We are up for the customer's needs. What is the best for the customer? What is best for that specific problem? Yeah. So we have 3 more questions, right? What is your advice if a person wants to convert their home into a smart home? So if anyone wants to convert their home into a smart home, don't start spending money on that. First, try to educate yourself and see what is already available there that is probably more affordable. And think about what you really wanted to achieve, right? I wanted to have intrusion detection. If someone breaks my door, I want to have a door opening detector, or my window detector, opening detector, or a video camera in front of, pointing out in front of your house if anyone's passing in front of it, or flood detector, right? Or temperature, weather forecast sensors. So you need to actually, and I would play simple, right? If I may suggest to you, think simple. Think one thing you wanted to make smarter, and then you research about that. If you have any questions, any doubt, please reach out to us here, to me. I'm more than happy to think together. Yes. What else? Where is Maxis in smart office solution? I'm not the best person to answer that question to you. I will get this answer better to you later on. But yes, I have my colleagues here in Maxis business that have a very wide range of solutions for smart offices there, and I can send you more details later on. Right? What's your favorite IoT project you've worked on so far, and why? Thank you for this very nice question. But that's a great question, difficult to answer because I'm really passionate about the IoT, and I can tell you I have a huge list of IoT solutions I had the chance to develop and to deliver to our customers. So, but I think if I, from the top of my head right now, what would be one of my favorites was the one myself and my team helped to develop in the UK before I moved to Malaysia to join Maxis. we had this solution called augmented reality assisted surgery that used IoT 5G technology. So in the middle of the COVID situation, when we were in deep need of help, the solution was used to enable expert surgeons that would be remotely based to assist the surgeons that would be helping people in the surgery room. I think it was an amazing IoT use case, and I'm particularly proud that I helped this use case to become reality. And now it's one solution that, by the way, Vodafone is selling out there. Right. So I think that's one case I can tell you it's a great case. Thank you. Thanks for your question.